colleague, the Honourable Lui Manawa-Winnie-Labour. Congratulations to her on bringing this bill to the Parliament. The Green Party will support this bill to Select Committee. We are a party that bases all of our policies on a charter. One of the principles of that charter is that of ecological wisdom. And when we think of ecology, we think, of course, about the natural environment and think about the connections between all of the species and elements of the natural world. But the idea of ecology and the idea of ecological wisdom transcends that. It says, effectively, everything is connected to everything else. And that's the truth, whether we're talking about the relationships between people and their environment. And it's also the truth about the different aspects of a person's health. So in the health sector in New Zealand for quite some considerable time, we have now worked to a model of health that is a holistic one. And that's perhaps best encapsulated by Professor Mason Jury with his Whare Tapawhā model that talks about 4 interrelated dimensions of health: tinana, hinengaro, wairua and whānau. Effectively, what he's saying with that model is that each of those dimensions of a person's health is intimately related to each of the others, and no person can be healthy without all of those being in harmony. And that means that a person's family or whānau relationships impact on their mental health and their emotional health, hinengaro. But it also works the other way, that a person's mental health or emotional health impact on the relations that they have with their family or whānau. This is a bill that addresses that point directly. And I'm pleased that even those in the House so far have indicated that they will be voting against the bill, and I'm saddened to hear it, and we'll talk about that in a moment, understand and appreciate the importance of that connection. I wanted to refer briefly to a couple of the core documents. First of all, the Second New Zealand Mental Health Plan, Te Tāhuhu, which actually sets out some of the objectives of the plan in relation to family and whānau. The importance of family and whānau is recognised in the development of an outcome statement for whānau and friends who support people with and who are affected by mental illness. Increased recognition that service users live in whānau and communities and that mental illness and addiction impacts on whānau. And the inclusion of whānau and family in treatment, some of the objectives of our mental health services plan. And the goals of the Mental Health Commission, sir, 2 amongst 5, to reduce the stigma and discrimination involving people and their families experiencing mental illnesses and or addictions. And, sir, to help families to support members who have experience of mental illness and or addictions in ways that promote their recovery and sustain family life. All through of the documents setting out our plan for mental health, we're acknowledging the role of families and whānau and looking to support that. Most importantly, in Platform, which is a coalition of non-government organisations in mental health, they talk about mental health and addiction problems also affecting families and whānau who must be considered as part of any journey to recovery. So there's that widespread recognition of the importance of family and whānau, both in creating a person's mental health, but also in recovery from mental illness. So why are we here debating this bill today if, as Dr. Paul Hutchinson is correct, and that the existing law already sets out a platform for that to occur? The reason we are here today debating this bill, sir, is that it isn't occurring, and that any member of this House who has had any dealing with mental health services is familiar with countless examples where a person's recovery from mental illness would have been assisted by the involvement of their family and whānau, and where it has not occurred for spurious reasons. And Dr. Hutchison himself has been present on the Select Committee when we have heard that very evidence. Sure, the concerns raised by Dr Hutchison and by Heather Roy are appropriate to be debated. But the appropriate place to do that, sir, is in the Select Committee, and that's why this bill should go forward.